Hi, my name is David. Today we're going to do number 1370, increasing, decreasing string. This is an easy level problem on LeetCode. I'm going to solve it in JavaScript. This function takes an s. S is a string. I'm just going to summarize this. And it wants us to return a new string that alternates each letter from increasing to decreasing. Well, yes. You want to go from increasing as possible from the selected input. And then once you can't increase anymore, you start decreasing it. And we want to turn that new string. So we're going to use our strategy for it is that we're going to create an array of 26 values and then indices, and then we're going to fill that out with a count for how many times it occurs. So we're going to have to use the ASCII to solve this problem. So basically what we need to do first is that we want to create an output string, but we want to create it as an array first, and then we can change it to a string output array. And next we want to create charCount array, which is the 26 indices array. And so it's a long problem, so I'm going to do these pseudo code kind of fast. So we want to do loop through s, and then inside this loop we're going to fill up the charCount with the corresponding count for each letter in it. And then once we got that, we got to create a count variable. And that's going to keep track of how many times we're going to do this while loop, because this count is going to keep track of how many times we can add the letters to this output array. So while loop, while count is greater than 0, we want to do a for loop through charCount. And then if the value condition, if value is greater than 0, it means we have to add it to the new string. So we push to output, and then we decrement the charCount index, and then also decrement the count, and then we do that again. We loop backwards through it. And then we follow the same process here. And then once we get that, we just return output as string. So when we're doing code, let output equals empty array. And next we create the charCount array. And it's going to be a new array that's 26 indices long, and we fill it to 0. And next we have to change it for the proper count. So loop through s for let I equals 0, I is less than s dot length, I plus plus. And then we do charCount, looking at s, looking at I. And then we want to get the charcode at it, dot charcode at. And then we want to minus the 97 from it, because that's where the letter A starts at. So it keeps an accurate count. And then we increment it. And we can console log this to make sure we got it right. No, I equals 0, I forgot the parentheses. Great, Z for the A's. And now we have to create the count variable equals s dot length. And now we do a while loop. Count is greater than 0. And inside this, we do the for loop for that I equals 0, I is less than charCount dot length I plus plus, and we create the condition if charCount index of I is greater than 0. We want to push it, output dot push. We want to do a string from charCode, and we get it to I plus 97 for this, the opposite of what we did before. And then also we have to decrement it, index I minus minus, and count minus minus. And now we do the looping backwards for let I equals charCount dot length minus 1. I is greater than or equal to 0. I minus minus. Maybe we copy that. Nice. And then lastly, we return output dot join as a string. Great. Nice, so we got it. So the time complexity, since we're doing a loop here, these are all constant loops. It's going to be O of n. And then space complexity, we're creating the new array, and it's multiple arrays, so it's going to be O of n, right? Because we have to push everything to it. I mean, we have to create this new output, and then we're pushing everything to it for this array. So it's going to be O of n. So that is how we solve this problem. Thank you.